Alright, this was just dropped off at the house today by some family. They came to pick up a table from the garage and drop this off. They thought I might be interested in it, and I thought, well, sure, why not? I think they mentioned that the radio itself isn't working. It's a RCA Radiola Model 33. And inside the, when the speaker chassis, the speaker came in a separate box. Because with these console radios, what you would do is you would have to hook your speaker into the back of the radio, because the console radio wouldn't have a built-in speaker. So it would come like this, and the speaker was dropped off here in a separate box. And when I opened it, I found it all shattered and broken, because part of the speaker chassis is made of ceramic, and the sides and the top is made out of like aluminum or something. Looks like a good sized speaker. Both the contacts are there. They look a little frayed. If I move this down, there's the power adapter. Of course, that's not very safe in this day and age, but it still works. We roll with it. Take the top off. When I first took the top off, I thought it was one of those ones that had a hinge on it, like the one that I have downstairs. It's a Westinghouse. So I lifted it like this, and the whole thing came down like that. Didn't hit the floor. I caught it on the way down, but I'm so used to the ones that have the hinges. I guess this one just a tin lid that goes on the top. It's a 7-tube set, and has a service tag in it that lets you know it's been serviced. This was, like I said, dropped off by family. It was my one of the radios that my now deceased grandfather collected, and it came with this as well. 1929 gray bar model, 311 7-tube set, employing a tuned radio frequency circuit. I found that interesting. It says here, back then in 1929, it sold for $77.50 only. So back in 1929, this was you only had to pay $77, and that was a lot back then, if you think about it. $77. These are, of course, the transformers. There's nothing really written on the service tag. I guess on this side it says, it's hard to see. No, that's there we go. There's a couple stamps for, I'm not quite sure what they mean. And whoever repaired it, he used to, when my grandfather would collect radios, he would go to a local guy that would service a lot of these things. And I got this sheet. On the other side of this printed out sheet, there's the numbers to the 7 tubes in here with some, they all start with the UX. So it's handy to keep in case I have to replace them. I haven't plugged it in or tested it or anything. I'm gonna bring it out back to the garage and power it up there and see what happens. I think they told me that all it does is hum, so when you turn it on, I just get that speaker hum, and that's it. So I don't know if maybe that's the speaker itself, or it could be a bad audio output tube. But I'm gonna bring it back to the garage, and we'll power it up. Put it on the workbench and power it up. And see what figure out where the speaker connections are on this side on the radio here. Let's see what it does. Servicing information I found online for the RCA Radiola Model 33. It's like a service manual, although they call it service notes. So there's part of the chassis inside of it. There's a bunch of other information here. There's another picture of the more pictures of the chassis. I gotta find the there's the antenna. So I got information on the antenna here. There's schematics. Where is it? Here's a good example. So output pin jack terminals. That's the underside. From what you're looking at the capacitors and stuff under there. Those two little pins down there by the high voltage rectifier tube. So that's where you plug in the speaker, which I'm gonna do here right away. Okay, they're plugged in there. Fire up. There you go.
A bit of an omni-shambles right now, to use a British term, so I'm not saying any of these discussions will be... We get by through thick and through thin. We get by. We get by. No matter what happens, I'll be there for you.
It sounded to me like Kissin' Country, that's FM 840 CFCW. Okay, so that's iNews 880. What? Next one should be 740.
Chance of showers, the high is 20. And cloudy periods with 30% chance of showers Wednesday night. Your low is sitting at 13. Your news begins right now.
There's been another troubling revelation in an already horrific incident. Thanks for joining us. I'm Thomas Stias. It turns out a man from Ontario accused of slamming his car into the wall of a Starbucks on the city's south side early Friday morning, killing all 3 of his passengers, had already been banned from driving a vehicle. One of the charges now laid against 25-year-old Oscar Benjamia is Operation While Disqualified. He must also answer to 3 counts of dangerous driving causing death and 3 counts of failure to stop at the scene of an accident after being tracked
Like I said, this is an interesting
hours later at his home and taken to
volume configuration. I guess there's a blues special on
Blue Yodeler. Jimmy Rogers
what is that,
was also
840?
known as the father of country music.
That's AM, medium wave.
In Hollywood in 1930. Listen to Jimmy Rogers' Blue Yodel number 9 with Louis Armstrong, and we'll follow that up with Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys and Hank Williams on CBC's Saturday Night Blues.
Oh, CBC. So that's CBC Radio 1, 740 AM. Lo and behold, I power it up and it's already on the same station. I got the super glue out now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue these pieces up, these ceramic pieces back on the speaker. Which, before I do that, I'll shut the radio off. And you can see here, not so much at the top, but at the bottom there was, I guess that's just part of the when they melt down the ceramic when they melt down the ceramic to mend it, to make that kind of triangle-ish shape or whatever, or that barn house type shape, whatever kind of shape you want to call that. But looks like it looks like it maybe broke off before and someone used something to. It was either that, or it was probably that, or it was. At first, I thought maybe it was someone put something in here, like some sort of industrial glue or whatever that is. It just looks like melted. To me, it looks like melted ceramic, but it almost looks like someone maybe put something in there to hold these pieces together as if they've broken off before. So I don't know. What it is, I'm gonna go ahead and. I did mention that I was gonna take that flathead screw out, but I don't think I will now that I've got the piece of glass upright, or a piece of ceramic. Try not to do this without cutting myself. If I can get to that from the back side and just put some glue there. It's too bad I can't find that piece. But I got the Gorilla Super Glue. I also have some, I had to look for where I put it. Oh, it's over here. I don't know if this stuff, does this stuff bond ceramic? It says on the back, it says bonds. Oh yeah, bonds wood, plastic, brick, metal, glass, ceramics, plaster. I have this stuff. I think this is more so wood glue though. I'm not gonna. I'll try with the super glue here and see what happens. Alright. I think I got the camera rolling, right? Yeah. First piece I think I'm going to do is I'm going to line this one up. Goes that way. It's hard to tell right now because it's like that. Okay, well, let's see what I can do. First of all, I'll do this little piece here. I'll take this cap is a pain. Oh, actually, the plastic part isn't on top. They have a plastic safety lid. It's a pain in the ass, but I leave it off because it's a real bitch to get. It's a real bitch to get off sometimes. So I guess what I'll do is I could start off. Well, I don't really want to drip it down on the. Should probably have a cloth here somewhere. Hold on, stand by. There's a cloth up in the shelf here somewhere. Oh, here's one. This one will work. Alright, just put down a little cloth here real quick. Try not to make it too noticeable on the outside because when it dries, initially when it's wet you don't really notice it, but when it dries it looks all white and crusty. So I have to wipe some of the excess off. Hope this does the job. Crap, I need a Look at the directions say hold down for 10 to 45 seconds. Oh, well, it was holding up for a while. Wonder if it'd help if I held it down a little longer. I'm now getting it all over my fingers here. Hold on. So let me retry. Put some more glue on that and find a wet cloth here. And here's this one. It's not really wet. I could run it under the sink in the house, I guess. The one that's looked too wet and crusty. Let's try this again here. Get the glue bottle. This super glue wasn't the greatest idea. I guess because I'm pushing down too hard on it, it's slipping off. Okay, I'm going to leave that for a while. I'm going to stop the camera here. Okay, something I just noticed that I might not fix until this is completely dried is there's a little tab here where this piece of ceramic slides over, and that little divot there in the ceramic that was molded in. You can see it on this side where it slides on top of it. Well, this one's bent. This one got bent a little bit, so I'm thinking if I take a pair of pliers and bend it back, loosening. Oh, maybe that wasn't too hard. Actually, wasn't too bad. Moves easily. I guess this is pretty dried on now. I'll go ahead and... Should I go ahead and try to put this piece on now? Alright, got the camera propped up now in a better position. I guess I should start investing in a tripod or something. I'm going to do it this way again. I'll get a little on this tab here. And a little on these edges. Quickly wipe it here so it doesn't run down all the sides. And I'll put some more here. Here. I got the crap all over my hands again. There we go. That's the best I can get it. Just kind of hold it there for a while. Seconds should be good. Now I'll just leave it there. And I'll just let it dry and I'll come back. And we'll paint some of this on. Alright, so I decided, because I'm not going to move the speaker all day, why wait till tonight? So I put some of this LePage bonding instant grab. Bonds to wood, plastic, brick, ceramics, glass, metal, plaster, and all sorts of surfaces. I put some in this cap here, and I'm just gonna take a little bit here and spread it. This stuff is paintable, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna paint it on like that. And you have to leave it out for 24 hours to dry afterwards. You can hear that signal sounds weak because I don't have a antenna on. So I have to find an antenna that I'm not using that's accessible to put on this. That's why that station's a little bit weaker. That's the volume all the way up. Just the sensitivity of the station, it comes in a little weaker. Here's a...
Why do they think their very existence is under threat?
All of the above. Wasn't at the scene when police arrived, but was possible gunplay outside of a popular casino in the capital region.
That's what it does when the volume is all the way up. Go back to...
They don't have insurance, so if something comes out and, you know, if
That's CBC Radiola, 740 kilohertz. Alright, let's let that glue set. And while that glue is setting, I'll find a solution for the antenna. The super glue and this LePage instant grab work glue is holding on pretty good. And so now what I have to do before I bring it in the house is work a bit with the antenna. You can see all the antenna wire here. What I'm going to do is I might just leave it, or I might unravel it somewhat so that it's closer to this wire. What I was thinking is I have some of these right here that I can crimp the wire onto. I have a wire crimper in the house. I think it's for coax. But what I'm thinking of doing is using one of these. They are a little wide. Those blue ones might work better. I think I might use the blue ones, and what I do is I'm gonna take, because there's a hole there that you can put a screw to, and I'm gonna take down that FM dipole antenna, which I don't need anymore for this radio because I got that piece of speaker wire. I got that piece of speaker wire up there, so I don't really need that dipole. I'll use the FM dipole antenna for this radio because it works for medium wave as well. Actually, you don't actually have to use that. You don't have to actually just use that for AM. You can use it even for shortwave. I mean, any antenna that's a wire like that should work. Alright, I moved the camera closer, and now it's starting to rain. And I was gonna walk to the local grocery store a little later today, so I have to pick stuff up. But I don't know if this rain's gonna stop. I like that this one has some holes too. You can stick you find the size that you need here, and then kind of do that, and then just kind of work it a bit. Sometimes I find it handy to spin it around a little bit, and then I open it up. You can see there, it comes off like that. So now some of the wire is exposed. What I'll do is this is for coax. So what you do is you crimp down the cable onto the coax head, and you put a new head on your coax. I'm gonna get soaked in the rain. Going back into the house. Damn. Just now started raining real heavy. So I'm just gonna take these little guys. I was debating on whether or not to use this one, but I decided just to forget it. And use this. So here's the deal. I never really actually tried this before. I've done stuff similar to this before. I've done it with coax. I haven't really done this small. I guess what I can do is this one first. And once the wire is in there, I did cut it a little. So now that that's there, and I see where that little metal contact is sticking out there, what I can do is I could solder that on, I guess. So now what I'm going to do, press that down on the cable, nice and tight. It is a bit loose, sometimes you just gotta work it. This isn't really the proper way of doing this. So now that that's nice and secure on there, shouldn't really come off now. I can attach an antenna on that with a screw. I gotta find a screw small enough. I have some small screws around. Now I gotta do this one. Still cut this wire a bit. So just bend it back like that, and then instead of using that one up there, because the front one's dull, the back one is a bit easier. Just snip, push it all down, make sure it's making contact, fold it around, make sure it's just touching the metal. Then we'll take our crimper and crimp that down. So just give it a good squeeze. Now it's on there. So now I have my two antenna connections done here. Now I'm gonna get the FM dipole. Actually, the rain stopped now. It's a bit wet. The rain's stopped now, though. I might start again while I'm walking. Probably won't walk now because of the rain. I'll see what happens, but there are the two wires. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to
prayed, the hand of the Lord came upon him. Music to live by.
That's the original. That's the religious station. 930 kilohertz. 930 the light. All right, back at this now. I'm on 840 kilohertz. 840 CFCW, the local classic country station. And as you saw earlier, the last thing I did before I went to do it, go run out for some errands, is I crimped this. I crimped this new plug on the end that I'm going to use here with the wire crimper, and I stripped it. I gotta crimp it again because it's coming loose still. This is not the best end to use on this wire because it doesn't stay on. It's not the right damn size. You can already tell it's vastly improved the reception, because if I press, it's vastly improved the sensitivity when I touch down on that, when I press down on it.
Children Charlie, Dwayne, Mel, Chris, Bernice, and also his grandson.
Brzezinski, a very talented...
So that copper's touching, and it's because I have it loose. So I have to go ahead and crimp that again.
Peter was a very versatile musician. Not only did he excel at playing the violin,
Because it's come loose
but he
again.
also played the drums, trumpet, saxophone, banjo, and cymbale. He also created new arrangements of traditional tunes, adding fourth and fifth parts to make the songs more interesting.
Open the damn pliers here.
He composed a few of his own songs. He was known for his fast polkas. The swingsters were very popular because they had a universal appeal, playing Ukrainian waltzes, polkas,
No, I got it.
schottisches, country music,
Stand by.
and...
Now that I think of it, I think I have more of those stashed in here somewhere. Well, I have these, but that doesn't really help. There's somewhere. I got an empty container to a roll of soldering wire in here for some reason. You know what? I'm gonna try that. I know what I'm gonna do here. 1 second. Let me take the dipole antenna and just look real quick. I think I have an idea. A better idea than this, at least. See, the initial idea was this terminal, if I could pry that open enough, but that's, you know what? I think I'm gonna forget it. Alright, so what's happened here is I started already taking this down, and I just realized that I already have that dipole connected to this RCA Victor. So what I just thought of is I remembered I had this little piece of wire laying around from my from another old FM dipole antenna. And so what I'm going to do is I haven't decided if I think I'm going to use these ends and leave these as terminals to connect to something else. I'm not quite sure what if I'm gonna keep those or not on the end. But what I'm gonna do is all I really need is a simple piece of wire like this. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to strip these ends. Actually, I should get a razor blade to cut some of this plastic off, so I can actually strip the wire. And we're gonna do it that way instead.
About him, where people are shocked, and now we're having media narratives about how he was a nice guy. Like, you know you can't prove it, and you know who knows that, Charles? It's Trevor Singh. He knows you can't prove that negative, but what he does know is that we are riddled in this country with proof points.
Alright, so I'm gonna quickly record the outro to this video. The last clip you saw before the outro here was I was putting those, here it is. These little, not even the proper connection for an antenna, but I was putting them on because what I was thinking is, if I were to take this little FM dipole antenna, by the way, this has come off, I'm just going to take these completely off, because I don't really need these if I'm just going to use this as a wire antenna. So, and this part is coming out here, but you can see I got rid of this. What I was going to do is I was going to screw, if I could find a small enough screw that on to this when it was connected here on the antenna and the ground. You don't really need the ground doesn't matter. But what I did is I had about a 29-minute clip rolling that was rolling on the camera the night that I filmed this. And I somehow lost the footage to the memory stick. So what I've done here is, and like I said, I gotta fix that. But what I've done here is I've just taken these little wire connectors. I have a ton of them up in the drawer, drawer over there. For this, I just crimped them down because usually you don't have to, but since this wire is a little bit smaller, I have to take, especially with this kind of antenna wire. And I always use this kind of antenna wire. It's a lot more I find it to be a lot more sensitive than this when it comes to antenna wire. So I always use this, and I was using this in an amplifier, amplify the signal. And this is just a little VHF, UHF analog TV antenna with the UHF loop on it. And all I needed it for was just the telescopic antennas. And that's all you really need for AM is just a little telescopic antenna. And so that's basically all I really did. And I'm gonna find the new home for this, the new home inside the house. I might put it up on at the end, like I was saying, at the end of the hallway we have a it's like a chest drawer type thing. What I might do is clean all the crap off that and just put that on there. I think it might look pretty cool. I think it might look pretty cool set up in the house. So with that said, I'm just gonna go ahead and end off the video here. And expect more to come. There's more coming, lots to come.